Every day is a gift, and with every gift, I'm thankful, humbled, and fortunate. I get to be a loving husband to my wife, a caring dad to my children, and one more opportunity to make a difference in at least one kid's life. I know this sounds like a cliche, but for me, being a father is my purpose, and changing lives is my destiny.
You gotta wake up, brother, open your eyes. You gotta wake up, it's time you realize. You gotta wake up, brother, open your eyes. You gotta wake up, it's time you realize.
Living the American dream is short of a success story for a black dad like me. As far as I can remember, my journey toward the American dream had roadblocks and detours. Luckily, my father woke up, smelled the coffee, and taught me through action and words what it meant to be a father. So, in honor of his 78th birthday, I decided to take a road trip to my hometown and speak with the man I call my hero about what motivated him to shoulder the challenges of being a single dad.
Here is where your grandfather played a major role. My mother had tuberculosis.
Really?
She went to Whitehaven with this, to get the tuberculosis cured in her. So he had to take the children and take care of us. And I watched him do that. It was rough on him. I know now it was rough on him. It was rough on him. But he did it. He says, one thing that my children is going to have, they're going to, have a meal, they're going to eat. If you notice, my MO, they were going to eat, and he took care of us. He took care of us the best way, and everybody that came says, "Oh, Ernest, or Sax, you're doing a great job." So these are little things that I picked up.
The 2 years leading up to going and living with my father at age 11 are filled with foggy memories. I remember one day being in the hood, on the block, and the next day staring at foreign walls. For so long, I've been haunted with unanswered questions, so for the first time, I've asked Dad to shed light on the darkness.
You see, your mom had this vision of the American dream. Get married, have 2.5 children, a nice car, a house in the suburbs. As life was going on, it wasn't happening.
Is the American dream at the expense of the American Negro, or the American dream is at the expense of the American Negro? Is a question hideously loaded, and that one's response to that question, or one's reaction to that question, has to depend on an effect on where you find yourself in the world, what your sense of reality is, what your system of reality is.
Your mom was having problems, and the neighbors called. When the neighbors called, they contacted me and said, "Okay, Mr. Saxton, we got this call. We're getting ready to put your children in foster homes." the only way that they're not going to go into foster homes is if you take them. I said, oh, that is really not even a question, you definitely were going with me. I don't care what's going on, you're not going that way. And I was emphatic about it. And back then, black males didn't. When people heard black males say something like that, they just took it with a grain of salt. But slowly but surely, all of y'all changed your look. That experience changed me. I mean, truly changed me. Every time I went to a job, sit with the guy, my counterpart, who's sitting in a chair next to me, making twice the amount of money that I am, even though I was getting a good nickel, but still he was making twice the amount that I had. And the unfortunate thing is that I wasn't able to do all of what he was able to do. My concept of the American dream slowly was washed away. Because going through the reality and knowing that the type of racism that was part of that, it was a major part of it, but you see, other people wasn't seeing it. I had the intellect to be able to be aware of it. That's when I started finding out the American dream wasn't made for me.
I remember, for example, when the ex-Attorney General, Mr. Robert Kennedy, said that it was conceivable that in 40 years in America we might have a Negro president. And that sounded like a very emancipated statement, I suppose, to white people. They were not in Harlem when this statement was first heard, and did not hear, and possibly will never hear, the laughter and the bitterness and the scorn with which the statement was greeted. From the point of view of the man in the Harlem barbershop, Bobby Kennedy only got here yesterday. And now he's already on his way to the presidency. We've been here for 400 years, and now he tells us that maybe in 40 years, if you're good, we may let you become president.
If there is anyone out there who still doubts that America is a place where all things are possible, who still wonders if the dream of our founders is alive in our time, who still questions the power of our democracy, tonight is your answer.
There are men who say that they're fathers, but they're really not fathers. What a father does is provide a model for their children, for males and females. Fathers should be the way that children begin to see themselves. You can do anything that you want to do. It didn't come from me. It came from my dad. Because my dad always said, you can do anything you want to do. You got to put the time in it. You can do it.
Today are HOV meetings, and I will be peeping in to say hello.
Well, congratulations on earning more B's.
Although I have absolutely no memories of my grandfather, hearing for the first time how he stepped up and became the caregiver was uplifting, but not at all surprising.
Focus, focus, focus! Boys and girls, happy Wednesday. Good morning, boys and girls. I never got to say congratulations for being in the lead at the end of the second quarter. So
Over the years,
congratulations
I've
on
gotten
that.
really good at burying the abusive experiences from the past. My father's moral direction helped me channel the trauma as fertilizer. I grew into a goal-oriented young father of compassion. At the ripe young age of 19, my first son was born. A year later, the second, and the next year, the third, and the fourth year, my first daughter.
How you doing?
Yesterday.
You have 48 Bs? Are you serious?
I'm talking.
Oh, 48 points? Are you kidding me? 100%? Dude, I got something for you special.
Okay.
All right? Between me and you, though. Good morning, boys and girls. Hey, listen, I feel it in my bones that Ujasiri will take the lead at the end of the third quarter.
As a naive father of 4 at age 22, I was driven to provide my children with the security of innocence they deserve as developing young beings. And then it happened. Late one evening, after working both routine minimum wage jobs, I saw Nathan McCall on the Arsenio Hall show promoting his New York Times bestseller, Makes Me Wanna Holler, A Young Black Man in America. This was the first book I ever purchased with my own money and remains the greatest investment of my entire life. Not only because it inspired me to rethink my current situation, but because I woke up and realized greatness was inside of me. Serving as an elementary school principal is an honor and a privilege. Elementary-age children are typically genuine and authentic, sometimes a little too much. I show them I care and they are compassionate right back. My favorite part about this work is being present to witness children grow in their intellect. This is truly something special. No other profession in the world can claim to have so much potential influence on the future.
Apparently not. They're making it sound like it. Good morning, guys. How are you? Happy Friday. All right. Have a great day. Thank you. Hey, I know this one. Off to Miami she is,
Right now?
Yeah, her flight's, she headed to the airport.
Meet Dion Jones, leader of the school-based dads group Highlands Men, a group focused on increasing the presence of men at the schoolhouse.
Good morning. How are you, friends? Happy Friday. All right, I like that hair. Have a good day. Thanks. Hey, baby. Yeah, you will. It's okay. It's just shooting by shot. You're on the mic, so don't say anything crazy. How are you?
Good. I already made my
Have
lunch.
fun. You already, oh, I was,
2019 marks the 5th year of Highlands Men's presence, and this group has made a significant impact on the overall school community.
thank you guys for being here. Whoever brought the snow, take it back. One of you Northerners, Utah man, Utah guy, or is a new guy.
The group started with dads volunteering once a month working car drop-off line, but has since expanded to volunteering every Friday, lunch monitoring, end-of-year teacher appreciation cookouts, school events, and one-on-one mentoring, which changes the lives of some of our most at-risk students.
Information points in there, a couple things we have upcoming. So, next Thursday, the 14th, from 5:30 to 7:30, right here in your media center, some real men talk, right? Men together. We're gonna have guys from the 14, 15 other schools that are also be their dad schools across CMS. So love to have you come out. There'll be a light dinner served. Don't come try to eat up all my nuggets, but there will be there'll be Chick-fil-A. So we're gonna do that. Also, there'll be a Sign Up Genius coming out either today or over the weekend for shifts for Springfest. right here in our back parking lot. We're gonna have shifts from 12 to 8.
The Highlands Men's message to students is that dads care about education too. I can confidently say their presence also adds another layer of safety and security for all staff and students. These dads step up to the plate whenever called upon.
Highlands Men has just been a phenomenal group. I mean, for us as fathers, and that have, we talk about having those relationships, those male relationships. Men don't have these conversations with other men, right? It has become a safe space for us. My wife calls it our play date on, what do we usually do? First Fridays, third Fridays, whatever we end up. We've moved it around this year. Third Friday is what it typically is. But those nights are important, right? We've said things, I think, in there that we may not have said to friends we grew up with, or guys we went to college with, or friends we may have now, outside the scope of what we're doing as fathers. But the one thing that we always come back to in that room is we're all there because we're fathers. And we want to be engaged with not only our kids, but the kids throughout our school community. So we all have that sole purpose, right? But there's different races and socioeconomic backgrounds and religions and all that good stuff. But we come together around doing good for kids, right? And at the end of the day, that's what it's about. This 5 years it's become so much more than what we thought it would be. I think in seeing this from a bigger perspective and looking at some of the other school groups that are in Be Their Dad, we're unique. And we're unique for a reason. We lost one of our members, unfortunately, untimely, and I think that brought us even closer together as men, and knowing and being able to share and being open and vulnerable, if you will, right? The break, and it's, I'm masculine, I'm tough, I can't be vulnerable and have a conversation. I mean, I've cried in Jason's basement a few times now. We're talking about different things. School safety, I think, was the last one we talked about. And, we got to talking, and it hit me, and I'm comfortable with that. Miles tells me, Dad, you're soft. I said, son, don't confuse being emotionally vulnerable with you, with my family, with my close friends, with being soft. These aren't the same things. I said, I would go to war for you and your mother and your sister and my family and friends. That, right? Like that's a separate thing. But being able to have these conversations as men, I tell him all the time. I kiss him, I hug him. He's 9. He's starting to get a little. Don't we do that in front of his buddies? And I'm like, hey man, listen, you are my little boy, and I'm going to hug you and kiss you until the day I'm no longer here. Hopefully, that's a long time from now, and you're far after me. But we have some men who genuinely believe in the power of presence and being there for not just their child, but for the community of children. It's an amazing, amazing group, and I'm proud and privileged to lead it. I am. Hello, little people. How's your day?
Good.
What's going on? Hi, baby. How was your day?
Good.
Good. Okay, let's go home.
We have pizza for dinner.
Pizza. What do you want, Miles?
Pizza. Because we were learning about fractions.
Oh, about fractions today? Pizza may be the move. What'd you learn today, Charlie?
We're learning about inequalities.
Huh?
Inequalities.
Lots of those in the United States, in the world. Get your strap. There you go. All right.
Inequalities in math, Dad, not social studies.
Oh, I assume social studies. Mr. Wells, since that's my favorite subject, and I like Mr. Wells. Oh, so I have an event tonight, so we're gonna go home, and you guys knock out homework and eat some dinner. Buckled up. Yeah. Here we go.
They're not health. I didn't want to go to health class. I was going to go to a soccer game.
So what are you giving your kids now that when they're 16, 18, 25, and they're making life decisions, they're making choices, what little voice are they hearing, right? Are they hearing yours? Are they hearing mom's? Are they hearing their buddies? Are they hearing something they saw on TV? What voice is there? What lessons have you given, prepared them to reach in and say, okay, I know how to deal with this. Anyone raising a child, you get 18 summers. That's it. They're out of the house. When they're gone, right? What are you teaching? What are you imparting? What life lessons are you giving them in those 18 summers? Because when they're gone, they're gone. You can't get those years back. I think about it all the time. Little opportunities, and you talk about with kids, they don't remember, they might not necessarily remember what they got for Christmas 5 years ago, but they may remember how it felt when you took them to the golf course to sled because it snowed on Christmas Day, and they still talk about it because you made them fall off the sled and it got snow up their nose. So they remember these things, right? They remember these experiences. I think we've been, as parents, my wife and I think we've been intentional, especially the last few years, dealing with some loss with our mothers, about creating experiences and ensuring that we're together and our kids are getting those and they're getting sealed into their minds. And it doesn't have to be, a trip across the world. It can be very simply, no, it does not have to be that, wife. It can very simply be, remember that time we spent 8 hours at the pool and we ate watermelon and we played basketball and that was great. And we had our friends from school and it was so cool. And it's those things that, I even think back to my childhood and I remember little random times. Like I had time with my dad fixing the truck one time. And I'm like, I wasn't into that, but it was something, it was important to him. And he was like, hey, can I show you this? Yes, you can show me this. I could care less about the carburetor on his 68 Ford, but he wanted to show me and I wanted to learn. It was one of those things that I'll just never forget.
Highlandsman is affiliated with a local nonprofit called Be Their Dad. The Be Their Dad organization's mission is to help dads become engaged and stay involved in the lives of their children. The Be Their Dad concept relies on the power of presence, founded on the idea that when dads are involved in the lives of their children in a positive way, only good things will happen.
Well, Be Their Dad, local nonprofit here in Charlotte, North Carolina, started by a coach, as we call him affectionately, Jeff Usher, literally wrote the book, Be Their Dad, and talked about his experiences over the years, working with youth through coaching, mentorship. The organization itself is really around, literally the tagline, power of presence. It's about putting men in spaces where we are traditionally not. Now, whether that's through choice, selecting out, whether that's through not feeling comfortable, not feeling like you have a place within the school, it really gives fathers an opportunity and a playbook. This is what we've done. This is what's been successful in these schools. Now, go talk to your principal and find out what's important to him or her and do that. Had the opportunity to speak at the state PTA conference on sustaining male engagement, right? We don't tell our dads groups how to go about this work. We tell them, here are the tools. These are some things that we found successful. Let us know what you need. We found mentorship has been huge. I mean, that's been a big part of what Be Their Dad's done over the last couple years. We've had principals say that's the number one need. We need men in this building to very specifically deal with boys, right? So middle school is new to us. We have a couple that we piloted this year, and we're hoping to bring 3 more on in the fall and kind of see where that goes. But it's a different space. So, but it really, it's a 501c3, and it's all, nonprofit, and everyone's donating, guys donating their time for the good of kids.
Tonight, Be Their Dad groups from across the county are coming together to discuss strategies for increasing participation from principals and dads. Dion's leadership has already inspired many, and tonight we hope to ignite more fires that will burn from the presence of dads.
I think fatherhood for me, and the inspiration to want to be a phenomenal father it's really come from my dad. Like my father was never, this is how to be a man. This is how to be a husband. This is how to be a father. This is how to be a good citizen. Just did it, and he kept me close, right? So when I think about that, he didn't have to tell me. I watched him interact with my mother. I watched him interact with my sister, how we interacted, watched him interact with his family, how he loved on his family and kept his family close, how he interacted with friends, other fathers in the neighborhood, watching those relationships. It was my normal, it was our neighborhood. It was not the Cosby Show. We weren't, doctor, lawyer. It was shipbuilder and teacher, right? My mother was a teacher, and always having him there and that relationship was amazing. However, I will say my father passed in 2004 when I was 27 years old. Thankful to have him for all of those years. But there's some things that we said in the time he was diagnosed until the time he passed. Those 3 months, 3 short months with now I look back on, and I'm so thankful for that time because there's some things that we talked about as father-son, as man-to-man, as future husband, future father, things that I don't know that we would ever have said to each other. Lessons I don't know that he would have ever taught. You think, it's one of those things in life, you think, oh, there's time for that. He'll get there. He's not a husband yet. He's not a father yet. But he knew that was coming. And he wanted to make sure, beyond the deeds and beyond what I saw daily with him, he wanted to make sure there were words there to back that up. And I understood what it meant to be a husband, to be a father, to be a community leader, to be a man amongst men.
See, like Marcus and I grew up in the same area in Virginia. A little school rivalry, high school rivalry we have.
This is real kind of feel like community school.
This to you because I've kind of watched you for a while, and I've worked closely with your men from the Highland Creek's men. What you guys do here is so good and so genuine, and sometimes I've always tried to figure out how do they make these connections, but I understand that connection, it's all of you. It's literally all of you. And being able to listen to you share your story and your history and the connection you guys have together, I can see why you all are so successful.
What are some of the lessons learned that you've experienced that you can share with, your principalship meetings and school meetings and things like that, just to get principals and vice principals and administration more enthusiastic about getting more men involved in their schools?
There's power in numbers, in unity. And when you can do that, people are more willing to listen. Pleasure to serve with you. And you.
Our neighborhood specifically, I'd say probably 80% of the dads were employed at the shipyard. It's a huge shipbuilding area there, naval presence. So a lot of the dads were, working class, out every day, lunch pail, blue collar workers, working hard, shift work, a lot of them. Some of them worked at night, some of them worked during the day. But it was a village for that reason, because a lot of times you didn't, your dad wasn't there in the evenings because he's working second shift, or he's sleeping because he's working third shift, or whatever the case may be. So I think, that old adage of it takes a village to raise, absolutely.
I stopped by Queen's Coffee Shop to chat with a father who knows a lot about serving people. Since the village is our community, it's time now to stand up against negative stereotypes that never seem to fade away.
Which is the reason why I wanted to sit down and to share. And hopefully this will help dispel that. But that has not been my experience. And so we have some challenges in our community, but I do know that there are a lot of black fathers who are stepping up, those who are still in their relationships and those that are not in their relationship, because they can see what happens when the father is absent. And I truly do believe that they're trying to change the narrative. And so if we can bring about projects like this, one of the other things that I'm very, very excited about is Black Fathers Rocks. Hopefully we'll be able to hear more about them and what they're doing to promote black fatherhood. But we have a lot of work to do, don't get me wrong, but I just want to encourage anybody who's listening that there is help out there in your local community if you seek it out.
I thank the senator, took his advice, and sought to learn more about the organization called Black Fathers Rock. I assumed I would meet a retired father, but the man I met was quite unexpected.
I ain't taking nothing away from the queens. No, I ain't taking nothing away from the queens. But the picture ain't fully complete without me. But the picture ain't fully complete without me. This for my daddy girls and my kings, was and kings. For my daddy girls and my kings, was and kings. I love my seeds like I know God love me. How would it feel being a father? 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 Black fathers rock, black fathers rock, black fathers rock, black fathers rock. How would it feel being a father? How would it feel being a father? Black fathers rock, 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 yeah, black fathers rock, black fathers rock.
I was on the phone with a friend a couple summers ago, and he was just talking about the work that I was doing here in Charlotte. And I got the idea to do something for Black fathers. At the time, it was just my daughter. She was 2, I think. And so I want to esteem Black fathers. I want to do an award show. So Black Girls Rock has, been what it's been over the, so many years in the DC area. And so I got the idea to do Black Fathers Rock. And I took out my black notebook and I wrote 2 pages. I wrote down venues, hosts, sponsors, honorees, acts that I wanted involved, how much I wanted to spend. Like, I literally wrote it out, 2 pages, designed my own logo, which was terrible. And I started my Instagram account, started my Facebook page, because I get things and I just go. I may not always know what the end is like, but if I get a download, I'm going with it. And that's what happened. It was God inspired, and I met with a friend. That was in July, and I wanted to have it in November. It was an award ceremony. I was going to honor 6 guys in Charlotte that are doing great things in their home and in the community. And I met with a friend in September, and he said, this could be so much bigger than you're making it. Let's hold off, let's push it to next year, and I'll come on as your PR guy. I'll do a pro bono project for you, and we'll kick it off in February. Cool. Sponsorship package set up, whole 9 yards, met with a local business here in Charlotte that's been in the community for 20 years, Black-owned business, and they cut the check to sponsor the first Black Fathers Rock Award celebration. And we had the first celebration, Black History Month, February of 2018. And we had about 120 attendees, honored 6 guys, and that was it. It was a great event, it was wonderful, had some great imagery. A lot of the local press, most of the local press covered it, all radio, TV, things like that. And a month or so later, somebody was like, you need to become a nonprofit. I said, no, thank you. I have no interest. I just want to do this. And I had 2 people. I had one couple, and I'm going to say this on purpose. I had one single white female hand me $1,500 cash. And I had a white couple write me a check on my birthday for $3,200 because God told them to sow into the movement. And I started a nonprofit after that. And I say that to say, the comment earlier about the guy who all fathers rock, absolutely. But yes, Black Fathers Rock was partially funded by other races because they get it. They understand, they see the media, they know what it is. And so, and again, something that's God inspired, if God gives you a vision, he also must give you provision. And so he provided a way for me to become a nonprofit. And so I reached out to one of my classmates from UNC Charlotte and got the process started for becoming a nonprofit. And here's what's crazy. It takes normally 4 months, maybe 3 to 4 months to become a nonprofit. We filed May 3rd, got our articles of incorporation May 15th. By June 1st, we were full-blown nonprofit. That never happens. And so then we started planning the next celebration, which happened, we did an MLK weekend of 2019, and that was the last event in the building before they tore it down. And so now we're looking to partner with the city of Charlotte for next year because they have an MLK celebration weekend, but they don't have anything on Saturday night. And so we're looking to partner with the city of Charlotte to bring this and make this a citywide event, MLK weekend, prayerfully that goes through, and we have that event Saturday night and blow it out the water. So what encouraged me to start it? A need. If there was something here, I wouldn't have started it. But also, I grew up without a father, and I vowed to never become a statistic, and that is what drives everything that I do.
If somebody has came up with their own opinion and say that I rock, That's just a blessing. I'm just honored. One thing I knew is that whenever I did have children, that I wasn't gonna ever leave my kids, no matter the situation. It's really been a non-negotiable in life. Yeah, man, it's been a few people, man. I think it was like a collective effort as far as filling that father figure role. It might sound crazy, but I always felt like Michael Jordan was like a father figure to me. You know what I mean? Like I always looked up to Mike. But no, also I had a homeboy. His name was Russell. Growing up, just my best friend in the whole world. He was actually white, but his dad loved me. He definitely took on the father figure. He used to take us camping and stuff like that. And then my older brother, he's 9 years older than me, so he kind of set the tone. I'm about 100% sure he was the first person in our whole family to go to college. He has his undergrad, his master's degree, his law degree. So just watching him move, I was like, yo, that's how it's supposed to be.
Technically, we outperform our counterparts.
Yeah.
As fathers, we change more diapers, we pick kids up from school more, we read to them more by 3 or 4%. You don't hear that often, but those are the facts, that we outperform our counterparts as it relates to childcare and child rearing. It is what it is. And so, yes, the absentee father, absentee father is going to be out there because that's the story. They want the drama. They want the, the most popular shows on TV right now are reality shows because there's drama. Real Housewives of you name it. It's not sexy to talk about black fatherhood. And our tagline is changing the narrative and dispelling the notion that all black fathers are absent. Because we have black fathers that are here in Charlotte, we have black fathers that are in Philadelphia, in DC, in Florida, that are present, but no one's talking about it. I attempted to put an ad on Facebook to talk about the event. And you can, demographic wise, who do you want to reach? 22 to 65, typed in the words fatherhood, African American, Black Lives Matter. They blocked my ad. And the response was, your ad looks as if you are submitting for low-income housing. But if you type in fatherhood on Facebook, you'll find 2.3 million people like this. If you type in black fatherhood, last year you wouldn't find anything. But now if you type in black fatherhood on Facebook, you'll find Black Fathers Rock. So to say there's not a need, Facebook's been around 10 plus years for my organization, for esteeming black men in here and anywhere else, it's a farce. Because if there wasn't a need, God wouldn't have given it to me to create. And now I'm sitting in front of you talking about black fatherhood less than 2 years from writing in a black notebook. And, God's timing is not our timing. And so for me, even getting the email about the event, not recognizing the magnitude of what you were doing, just the fact that it's a conversation now and you're continuing that conversation, I'm just happy to be a part of it.
As a father of now 6, I hope that I inspire my seed to be their very best, stay true to who they are, and know for certain that they have greatness inside of them. When history retells my story, I pray that my legacy will be, he was a good husband, a good servant, and a great dad.